So I spent some time at the Siam Center. The Siam Center is in the middle of town, and it is probably the flashiest of all the malls I've ever seen. Even if I compare the big malls and markets on Ginza in Tokyo, they have more food and better food. Like they have a separate floor for just dessert, which I really like. Still, compared to that, this is the kind of mall that you don't really see anywhere else. New York City definitely does not have anything comparable. You can get the food, there's a lower floor just for the food, and there are all these clothing stores and top brands, watches, stereos, everything you can imagine. Of course, my favorite part is the vehicle floor. This one has Porsche, Rolls-Royce, Bentley, Maserati, Land Rover, BMW, a bunch of the big brands, not all of them. They used to have a Lamborghini section as well. They no longer have that, unfortunately, and they never had Ferrari. When you look at the price on these cars, what you notice is how much more they cost here than in the US. I was looking at prices of two and a half times as much as you would be paying for the same stuff in New York. But very nicely displayed. In general, the Thai government is not too keen on imports. They want to make everything at home as much as possible. For example, all of the Toyota taxi cabs are built under license in the Siam. So even if you retire there, they are trying to limit how much of your stuff you can bring into the country. And if you do want something really luxurious that is an import, you are going to have to pay a heavy price for that. But I do see fancy cars every day. This is kind of a third world country, I guess you could say. But like most of those countries, in addition to the larger volume of poor people, there is also a small group of insanely rich people, especially in Bangkok. And these are the people who are primarily the potential buyers of this stuff. Nothing new here, nothing you could not get in the US, but it is just very nicely displayed. It's all indoors. And once you have had your fill of all the cars and stereos and watches, you can have a great meal going downstairs. Although this is not the best food in town, and I might do another video on some of the problems I have had with the food here. I have seen this new Tesla. I think this is the newest version of the Model 3. It's almost the same as the old one, but they have made some tweaks on it, so it looks more slick. I would say it fits in with the rest of the high-end crowd. And then, of course, there was a BMW and the Mini Cooper, which I like, although probably would not buy because of all the quality concerns. But what really interested me was the two-wheelers that BMW is putting on the market. And even though most of what's in this section on this floor is cars, they do have some motorcycles. They do have either a Harley Davidson or Ducati. I believe they are owned by the same people anyway. But the BMW was most interesting. They had a little electric rig like they have been pushing for quite some time. Unfortunately, it's just a very uncomfortable looking ride. It doesn't look bad. It has that edgy industrial look that you expect from BMW. But the seat is, to me at least, it is unacceptable. It is an ironing board adopted as a motorcycle. And I'm not sure what that empty gap is supposed to do in the front. It is also too short for two people to sit on. Since this thing is not going to be under $10,000, at least I would expect to be able to add a passenger for that kind of money. What I did like, and what I personally would even consider, was the 400cc gasoline scooter. I did sit on it. It's certainly a lot more expensive than the Japanese counterparts, but it's a very nice ride, very comfortable and powerful ride. And sitting on it, it just has a very solid, sturdy feel to it. So it looks like something that's well screwed together. And I don't know if I'm going to get on a gasoline scooter, like a maxi scooter again. I used to have smaller scooters, not as big as 400, but smaller scooters, which are kind of a logical step, or one of the possible logical steps up from an e-bike or a cargo bike or even an e-scooter, because they run on gasoline, so the range is infinite. You can get on the highway with it, so you can do a lot with it, and it's not too big to keep in a city. If you are ever in town, the way to get to the Siam Center it's here. It's right in the center of town, and it's sitting on the SkyTrain, which is probably the best public transport you have. But there's another line also, and you can even take this riverboat. I've done a short on it, I believe yesterday. This is a fun and interesting ride. Kind of not very environmental because it's a gasoline engine. I wish they replaced it with something electric, and the water is really dirty as a result of all the traffic. But it costs like 25 cents, and so it's a really easy way to get around. And it goes across the whole town. As for myself, this is where I am located now. It's a condominium area. It's still fairly close to downtown, or really is a part of a very urban part of Bangkok. And so for me, the river boat is a fun thing that I'm riding around on. But I also take taxi cabs. Taxi cabs are really cheap. I would pay from here to go to the Siam maybe $2. So compared to New York, I mean, in New York, a trip like this would cost $50. And here you can do it for $2 or $3. So it's insane how much this town gives you for how little you are paying. So definitely worth a visit. And I'm going to be back myself, possibly to buy a better microphone than this clip-on piece of crap that I'm using, because the sound is not the best. I apologize for that, but that will be coming sometime in the next few weeks.
I'll be back.